Do you suck at traffic and city skylines? So do I. How do we do better? By using only one-way roads, of course. How do we make that more fun? By making those one-way roads all highways. In order to make this work, I headed to the Steam Workshop and downloaded a couple essential mods: unlock all roads so that I could access highways right away, zoning adjuster so that my highways would allow zoning on them, traffic manager for a little extra fun you'll see shortly, and a little surprise. I chose the Mountain Meadows map from the Park Life DLC because it has 69% building area, and that's nice. And I pressed go. Starting a new city in City Skylines always feels so calm and homely, doesn't it? A small spark of life, giving hope for a brighter, bustling future. But for us, we start hard, we go fast, going home, to the east, work time, to the west, smash some wind turbines inside the giant roundabout, and we're all powered up. Then it was time for services and our first roadblock, our first uh-oh. As I placed down the city's dumper, I learned that even though I could force zoning on highways with mods, the service buildings still thought they didn't have access to the road. The dumper showed the little problem bubble of doom. The whole plan was a failure. I was about to scrap the entire video idea already and start over, but then a garbage truck spawned anyways. So I learned to ignore the problem bubbles because the game seemed to be doing just that, gave our citizens a clinic and moved on. I used Traffic Manager to change all the highway speeds to the fastest possible because fast is fun. Then I was forced to slow the fuck down because I was broke. It turns out highways are expensive. It also turns out the highways I was using from the workshop were more than twice as expensive as the vanilla highways, but I had to keep using them because North America. But seriously, there was so much time spent waiting for money. I decided generic industry felt too fast-paced for our quaint little town, so I laid out some farming fields instead and turned my attention south for expansion. And then waited for money. And waited for more money. And waited. It was this waiting during the creation of Le Causan Living that really got me thinking. What was the point of this city? Was I trying to prove something or tell a certain story? I felt conflicted, unfocused, like Kanan after the events of Twilight of the Apprentice at the end of season 2 of Rebels before he meets Bendu and learns to find his own new balance and confidence. If you understood that and comment so down below, I will cherish our bond forever and may the force be with you. If not, you're probably living a healthy lifestyle. Good choices. The point is, I was blind where I should have been omniscient and the city lacked direction. We had this quaint small town that should have been a place of peace and tranquility, but instead had these highways with ludicrously high speed limits where cars were racing around corners on 2 wheels because they gotta go fast. I decided it was time to be the benevolent guidance that my citizens needed me to be. I was going to give this little town some direction, but that direction would be to choose their own path. I would continue to provide living spaces and a workforce, and the little hamlet would grow into a small town and maybe even a city one day, but my Sims would be able to choose how fast they wanted to move through life. I changed all the road speeds to no limit and just let my Sims do what they wanted to do, which still meant a lot of meow, but if that's what they wanted, so be it. The new district, BMF Greens, was developing nicely, and inspired by its name, I took some time to plunk a few trees around town. Just as I was starting to feel some comforting vibes emanating from these limitless highways, the city reached a milestone. Busy town. Was this the future of our little village? Would we succumb to the must-have fast pace of modern life? Truly, was this an avoidable state in City Skylines regardless of our decision to use only highways without speed limits? Well, it was certainly worth a try. For the remainder of the build, I focused on keeping houses spread out around the map, gave them some breathing room. After all, what good was having unlimited speed on these highways if you were only driving 3 blocks? To help attain the desired sprawl, I purchased 2 more map tiles, expanding our farming industry alongside the main entrance highway, and brought a large winding road to it from the other side of town, curving around a hillside featurette that came with the map. I had plans for the top of that hill. Nearing 7,500 people in the town, I took a moment to step back and appreciate what had been done here. But then the milestone interrupted my serenity. This was it. This big town milestone was the tipping point. It unlocked high-density buildings, and I had to make a decision. Would I start to cram Sims into the cities side by side like sardines, encouraging them to hurtle through the education system and seek employment ASAP to pay me taxes and keep the city going as fast as ever? Or would I pause, listen to the game's wind sounds rustle through my speakers, and reflect on what I had built here today? I was proud to have found a balance between encouraging my Sims to race around town on these highways, no speed limit to be found, and living a cozier life, a calmer life, in a low-density sprawl with just a few farms and forestry to sustain basic services. It made me think, you know, if I lived in a world where there were no speed limits, would I still go so fast? Is the reason so many of us are sprinting through life really just that external pressure? I'm still unsure, but one thing I do know is that if you need to, remember to pause and consider. Think about your values now, and if you have a friend that may be on the cusp of burning out, maybe offer them a breather. Patreon supporters will get this city save tomorrow to continue if they want to add some hustle and bustle, and the rest of you can click on the video on screen for a change of pace, watching me and friends play the City Skylines board game. Remember gang, grooviness counts.